Hey fam, welcome back to Tari's Lifestyle and Vlog, and thank you so much for stopping by. So this is officially my first video of the year, and I thought I'll come and first of all wish you a happy and prosperous new year. I hope you've had an amazing time celebrating the Christmas and New Year and resting and all of that. Okay, but today we're just going to be talking about the dependent visas for international students. So we know that in December 2023 the UK government announced that international students will no longer be able to bring their dependents to the UK from January of 2024. Okay, so I made a video about it which I'll link up here if you haven't seen that video, so you can take a look to see what other changes the UK government announced for this new year. Okay, so please watch it, and if you have any questions, any video suggestions, please leave them there as well so I can have a look for you. Okay, so but today we're going to be talking about what happens next. So now the international students are no longer allowed to bring their dependents. What is the next thing to do? What is the way out for them, or what's the next step really? So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Okay, but before I go on, my name is Tari, and on this channel we'll talk about UK visas and immigration. We'll talk about life in the UK, how to safely and successfully travel to the UK, and how to navigate through life as an immigrant living in the UK. Now if this sounds like something you're interested in, then please subscribe, turn on your bell icon so you don't miss out on any of my videos going forward. Okay, so like I said before, the UK government announced that from January 2024, international students will no longer be able to bring their dependents to the UK. And as we speak, this is January, and this change has actually come into effect. The reason the UK government is doing this is because they're trying to cut down on legal migration to a large extent, because the number of people that came to the UK last year was actually really high, and they thought the best thing for them to do was to cut down on migration. And there are a lot of factors they are putting into place, a lot of measures they are putting into place to cut down on migration. One of them is the fact that international students can no longer bring their dependents. So if you're coming to the UK to study from January 2024, you cannot bring your dependent to the UK. However, if you're already in the UK and you have a dependent in the UK, you do not have a problem. Your dependent can still stay with you in the UK. So coming to the UK as a student is still possible. You can come to the UK if you want to come and study a course by yourself. Okay, so that's not a problem. If it's just you, if you're single, or if you want to come to the UK to study and then go back home to your family, that's absolutely fine. Okay, so that's fine. You can come to the UK and study, and then maybe go back to your country once you finish your course, or go visit during holiday time and all of that. But if you're wanting to come to the UK as a family, if you want to bring your family to the UK, then that is no longer possible. But if you're wanting to come to the UK to do a postgraduate or a research course, you can actually bring your dependents to the UK. And I've said this before in my previous video, which I'll link up here as well. If you're coming to the UK as a research student to study a research course, or if you're coming as a postgrad student, you can bring your dependent. But if you're coming as an undergrad or as a postgrad, you won't be able to bring your dependents to the UK. If you've already been in the UK as a student, then you also want to be thinking about your next steps as a student, because we know that the laws change from time to time. So normally the UK government will announce an autumn statement and a spring statement and a winter statement, and this time around they've made so many changes in terms of immigration. It used to be like April, we expect so many changes to come into effect, but this time around throughout 2023 we saw changes coming from back to back, you know, so that's how it's been. Okay, so we don't know what the future is going to hold. So as a student in the UK, what you want to be doing is making plans ahead of time. So if you're already in the UK as a student and you're thinking of staying back in the UK after your completion of your course, then you want to think about your options. Okay, so one of the things you can do is apply for a skilled worker job. So once you've completed your course, you can apply for a skilled worker job. Okay, remember there was a change sometime in the autumn that anyone that's a student cannot switch to a different kind of visa until they've completed their course. However, if you are a student, you can actually apply for jobs and make an agreement with your employer to say that your start date will be after the the end of your course. Okay, so you can do that, but by all means do not sit down until you've actually finished your course before you decide that you want to start applying for jobs, because at the end of the day you might just be in the UK for a long time without any job, without doing anything. Okay, so you want to make sure that you've made arrangements. So plan ahead, make your plans, apply for jobs, so that by the time you finish your course you have a job waiting for you. Okay, so as a student you also have the option of the post-study work visa, which is for 2 years. So if you don't have a job, so if you've been applying for jobs, so for instance you've been thinking ahead, you've been planning, you've been applying for jobs, and you still don't have a job, then what you want to do is to apply for the post-study work visa. So the post-study work visa gives you 2 years. So even though it's not a route to settlement, it gives you 2 years to actually look for that skilled worker job that we're talking about, that will lead to your settlement in the UK. Because really, you're staying in the UK, you want to be settled, you want to have the right as a settled individual in the UK. So the student visa, the post-study work visa, they are not routes to settlement. However, if you're able to switch to a skilled worker visa, then you can get settlement after a period of time, after about 5 years or so, or thereabouts. Okay, so you want to make sure that you have plans. Apply for jobs, like I said before. If you don't have a job or after you completed your course, then you can switch to a post-study work visa. Once you have that, you've got 2 years to plan, arrange, and then actually apply for a skilled worker job. Okay, so those are the things that you can do as a student in the UK. So like I said, make your plans and make sure you have everything in order. If you're coming to the UK as a student, you can come by yourself. If you're coming as a postgrad or a research student, you can come with your family. However, if you're already in the UK, you want to make sure that you've made your plans on how you're going to settle, if you want to settle in the UK, obviously, because some people want to study and then go back to their country. But if you're wanting to stay in the UK after your studies, then you want to make sure you make plans ahead, take steps ahead, and then you can actually get a job and then eventually stay in the UK. Well, I hope this video has been helpful to someone. If it has helped you, give it a thumbs up, share with your friends and family, and of course subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.